Hi everyone, Ashley Mailloux here. We're going to take a look at one of the 7 races this Tuesday out at Assiniboia Downs. Now they have 2 stakes races. There are races 2 and 3 on the program. Race 3 is the one we're going to focus in on. It's the graduation stakes, $50,000 for the 2-year-olds going 5 furlongs here. And it's an interesting event. You have a lot of horses exiting the same key maiden special weight event back on the 5th of August. You have a fresh face in the form of You're Okay. And then Neytiri on the outside was second last time out in the debutante. She's a girl tackling the boys here, so makes for a little bit of an interesting event. You never know what you're going to get with 2-year-olds. And as we take a look at the Timeform US pace projection, no speed in here. And that could be really a hard thing for horses outside of marking Broadway. Based on what we saw last time out, marking Broadway likely to be the pace setter in here. You can see the LP flag is attached to the filly Neytiri on the outside, and little concern for her. She has a late sort of turn of foot, and if there's no pace, she could be at jeopardy of getting the win in here, just based on race flow alone. So let's dive right into it though. With the number 1 marking Broadway, we will take a look at that race from August 5th out at Assiniboia. Now it was going 4.5, only a 4-horse field, and marking Broadway and the runner-up and the 3rd place finisher all are back in this race in the graduation stakes. And in terms of the pace flow, marking Broadway went to the front. He stayed in front, looked pretty commanding throughout, never really in jeopardy. And the interesting thing is, 3rd betting choice in that field of 4, but obviously took a huge step forward. You wonder if it was just kind of a circumstance sort of situation where this is a 2-year-old who we saw back in April pretty early in an interesting race to debut in allowance. That's kind of an interesting thing when it's written that way, but when you dive into it a little bit more, you can see it's just the way that it's written out at Turf Paradise. It's a trial. You can see there it was the Open Spring Futurity, a trial race for that. And, horse never really got going, was towards the back of the pack in there. From there, we hadn't seen that one for quite some time. Ended up going on the shelf. Went to Assiniboia on August 5th, and we saw that performance. Was able to graduate in just the 2nd career start. Draws the inside in here. Looks to be potentially the lone speed. With that said, makes marking Broadway a pretty tough horse to kind of beat in this spot. But we'll move on to the number 2, Are You Not Entertained? This one for Jared Brown was second behind marking Broadway, and I thought ran well. Little green on debut, which you might expect, but obviously could now take a big step forward. Second time out, was working quite well going into that race. I know the breezes are sort of spread out, but liked the move on July 6th, then had just kind of a maintenance drill on the 20th, and just the one race. So no work since then. The barn does okay with maiden second time out. Obviously, I think if you're not taking marking Broadway out of that race, you probably are taking Are You Not Entertained. The number 3, Omaha Warrior, this one, a stablemate of Are You Not Entertained, was 3rd best in that key race on August 5th. And I just thought he was flat and pretty even. He can kind of see his workouts, looks to be working in company with Are You Not Entertained, and just tough for me to use in here. Another one that showed a little bit of greenness, but out of the 2, I would probably take his rival in here. Now the number 4, You're Okay. This one by Euro Ears, second in both of the career starts. And you look at when those races were back on July 12th and then on the 25th. Those are the North Dakota Horse Park. And tough to assess that form. I will say what you can look at is the chart for the most recent effort. This horse opened up a sizable lead and tired in there. And the time is not going to catch your eye, 49-1, going the 4 furlong distance. So little concerning. You can also see just kind of got tired once again, and a little bit different in terms of the debut, but I kind of want to rut this one now, going 5 furlong. Seemed like the cutback from 4.5 to 4 helped. Now has to get the additional 1/8 of a mile. And then finally, the lone filly in this field, the number 5, Neytiri. Take a look at her most recent performance, which was in the debutante back on July 30th. I like the spacing going into this race. I think in terms of the race flow, we can only imagine got a dream trip on the front end. And the fractions were, I guess, for Assiniboia, a little bit on the quicker side. They were reasonable fractions, and we can only imagine was able to take them gate to wire, held in there, went off at even money. And Neytiri, completely opposite trip. Closed from last, was last early, then rallied, only missed by a length and a quarter. I love that performance. I think if there were more pace in here, she would be a clear top pick for me, even tackling the boys. But the concern is she going to have too much work to do? I don't think they're going to go all that quick in here. And for me, that makes her a little bit of a tough sell, but still a major player. And with that said, we will move to top selections here for the graduation stakes. And You can see I'm not going to get super creative. I will go with the number 1, marking Broadway on top. I think kind of just looking at this one and thinking he could be the lone speed. He can control it in here. He does have to go an additional 1/16 of a mile, but I don't think that'll be an issue. I hope it was clear. I really like what we saw last time out from the number 5, Neytiri. I'm just concerned about the pace scenario for her, so I use her in the 2nd spot. And then finally here, torn between the 2 and the 3. I will go to the 2, Are You Not Entertained, as the 3rd pick. I thought in terms of the trip last time out, maybe in comparison to the stablemate, can take a little bit of a better step forward. Ran well, just 2nd best, and we'll see what this one can do in this spot. But really torn between the 1 and the 5, and I just think from a pace perspective, the 1 marking Broadway is the horse to beat. Good luck.